Hi, I'm Jessie Hart, physics teacher, and in this video I share what some of my grade 9 and 10 students had to say about themselves and technology use at school. I also interviewed some colleagues to see what they had to say about technology use from a teacher's perspective. To give a brief overview of the student responses, I can say that this group answered very similarly for questions regarding interests and activities. No special conditions. They are normal high school kids who like to play video games, eat, sleep, and play or watch sports. I know some of the students pretty well, having had them last year too, and I was surprised to see that they didn't write some of the activities I know they have done. Science competitions, basketball competitions, some of them have incredible art skills. I think they felt a little shy about opening up. This is important to recognize because students should be comfortable in the classroom, as learning happens best in a relaxed environment. Regarding student capabilities and literacy skills, this questionnaire cheats a little bit by sneaking 2 questions into most of the questions, but I wanted to encourage the students to use more words to communicate their thoughts. They are all English as second language learners, so this is not easy for a lot of them. I learned a lot about their abilities just from response length and vocabulary choice. There were a couple questions that were misunderstood by a large fraction of the class. Where do you want to study in university? I asked this because presumably the reason that they attend an international school is to go abroad, but many of them answered as if the question had asked, what do you want to study, and provided their intended subject. This is an indicator of limited English literacy. The other question that provided some insight was the question about their favorite book. Predictably, Harry Potter was a popular answer, but this was followed by textbook titles after that, indicating that many have not read books in English. A few of the responses to question 2, what is the most challenging part of school life, was most interesting to me. Some of the students wrote that they found managing themselves and their time difficult. This was something I have noticed this term with this group of students. I will consider this more as I plan their activities and assessments. At my school, we use the online platform ManageBack for all grade levels. I can post homework, classwork, or activities on the platform, and it appears on the student's calendar on the due date. I will space out the drop boxes so that they have small activities to complete throughout the week. Not all activities need to be assessed. Some activities can just be reminders to study or check that you have submitted all of the work. I will allow late submissions to a point to make sure they all do the homework. Since all of the assignments are submitted online, students are expected to use technology every day. One question I asked them was, how much time each day do you spend using your devices for entertainment and social things versus schoolwork? They said about 3 to 5 hours a day they are working on their devices. A lot of the teachers in school, myself included, require the use of technology to do most of the assignments. With that, I will now turn to my teacher interviews about how we use technology. I asked a few colleagues from different subjects, English, math, and biology, some questions about how they use technology and how it influences their teaching. Since we all teach in a high school, grades 9 through 12, I also asked my boyfriend, Kurt, to interview for some input from a pre-K to elementary school teacher. While we high school teachers find ourselves using more and more technology in our classroom, for instance, this year we had smart boards installed and almost every student has an iPad, Kurt reflected that his experience teaching younger kids is that the younger students' parents desire less technology to be used. In fact, these parents are strongly against screen time for their kids and only approve of some technology when it's for hands-on STEM activities. I understand this sentiment. As students get older, the way that they use technology will change as they learn to be more responsible users. Students should definitely leave school with the skills to use technology to find information when they need it, and have experience using a range of technology that will help them later. In the high school, technology has become really integrated into our lessons. For one thing, we do not print nearly as much, which is good for the earth and good for record keeping, to have everything documented online. Another thing we use it for is more efficient communication and sharing information with students. They can collaborate online, they can get immediate feedback from us. Class notes and resources are all posted to manage back. We rely on the internet so much, it's hard to imagine all this organization without it. At the same time, there are negative aspects that come with technology. One big problem is that the students too often rely on internet for information without checking it, or they just copy it. This is behavior we need to correct and teach them how to properly assess the information they are finding online. In my interviews, the question I was most interested in asking the teachers was whether they thought that technology actually made their teaching more effective or just different. I think the general consensus was that it is more effective in the sense that students are used to it, so they expect this kind of visual aid and immediate feedback. However, no teachers thought that their ability to deliver the content of their lessons was improved by using technology. Just different. I think this is why the structure of schooling hasn't changed in decades. While it makes some things more convenient, it isn't necessary for learning. However, as the use of technology in the world becomes more normal, these are skills that we need to be teaching our students.